Welcome back to another video here at Euphoric Sports, and today we're going to be talking about Arsenal's 2022-23 campaign. We're going to be rating it. I've seen many people do this and rate the season, and I just want to come here and rate it for you guys. Now, let's start off with player of the season. Who do we got? I think this one's an obvious one. It's a player that I doubted at the beginning of the year when he was given the captain role at such a young age, such little time at the club, and he absolutely proved me wrong, and he has blossomed into this role, and he's looking like he can become a Arsenal legend. And who is that? That is Martin Odegaard. I bought his jersey, Champions League badge. I want to flex that real quick. Champions League badge. It's coming on the way, coming in an airplane. But he had a great year, absolutely amazing year. Odegaard was the best center attacking mid this season throughout through 38 games. And I know people are going to say, oh man, De Bruyne, he won the Premier League. I just believe in the Premier League wise, Odegaard was better statistically. Now, he was the best Arsenal player because this man carried us at some points. He scored lots of goals, created chances, led the league in chances created, many assists. He was absolutely on fire, and he's blossomed into that leadership role. Obviously, the inexperience that he had at the end didn't really help out, and we end up a bit fumbling the league, how some might say it. But Odegaard, he was the best player this year, no doubt about it. Young player of the season. It's really between Saka and Martinelli because these two guys are 21 years old. 21, the way these pundits talk about them, you think they're like 28, 27, or 26 like Rashford, they call him a star boy still. But these two lads, man, we have 10 plus years of them being at this level or better. Like, absolutely brilliant. But I'm going to go Martinelli. I think Martinelli, was more consistent throughout the season. I think Saka was brilliant. And then towards the end of the season, he kind of died down. But Martinelli, I believe he was more up there the whole season that he was available and healthy. And many people, were doubting his capability of being healthy throughout the whole season. And this year, he shut them up. He was healthy for most of the time. I think the only injury he really picked up was the one against Brighton where Caicedo, gets on his ankle. And they shut him down for the season because there was no point. Season was over by then. But Martinelli was my young player of the season, and he will also be my most improved player as well because this man was going from, does he have a future here at Arsenal, or is he too injury prone, or is he going to be here and become the winger that we all think he can be? Because he had talent coming in. He's had moments that were like, that player is special, and this year he really proved it. He had that jump, and it was amazing, and I can't wait to see him in the Champions League. Now, unsung hero. I'm going to go with Gabriel. Gabriel is a center back that we bought for 22 million from Lille a couple years ago, and many people were like, "This is the guy who's gonna be your left-footed center back for the future." Absolutely trash. Shows the level that Arsenal's at, and I stayed quiet. I was like, I want to watch him play. The same way with Kouar. I was like, I want to watch him play first, and then Gabriel, he ends up being an absolutely great Premier League center back. He has a case to be Premier League in the starting 11 for the Premier League team of the season. He really has a case. Some may put him, some might. But what I look at him is he was available basically every single game. What more can I ask for from him? And he was consistently good. Obviously, he had some mistakes here and there, but Gabriel being there every single game. Not every center back in the league was there every single game like him. And I'm thankful for that. My unsung hero is him. We didn't have a left-footed center back issue because Gabriel, he was there the whole time. We even bought Jacob Kouar to come in and be like, just in case something happens, we have a left-footed center back. And he ends up playing on the right side, which he did a decent job, But Gabriel, he's just shown that he's reliable and he'll be there every single game. And I rate that. I really genuinely rate that, and he played decent this year. So I'm like, this man, he's my unsung hero. It was between him or Xhaka, to be honest. But I'm going to go with him. Signing of the season, many people have been saying Zinchenko or Trossard, but I'm going to go Gabriel Jesus. 24 matches, 17 goals and assists. That's brilliant. The only thing that really was the problem for him was that injury at the World Cup. If that doesn't happen, Arsenal's Premier League champs. But then we have, the striker problem. Then Eddie Nketiah goes down, and then we're like, oh. Like, at first, when we had Eddie Nketiah, he was doing well. I'm one of Eddie Nketiah's biggest critics, but he was doing well. Then he gets hurt, and then we're left with no number 9. But when Gabriel Jesus and Eddie Nketiah were healthy, this team was on another level. And then Gabriel Jesus comes back from the injury, and he wasn't really the same right away. But at the end of the day, I think he's done well, and I think he deserves a chance next season to be our number 9. And let's see how it goes in the Champions League and all that. And I know many people want to see Arsenal sign a striker, but me personally, I do not. I think we have 3 options currently right now. Obviously, one's probably going to get sold, but we have Gabriel Jesus, Eddie Nketiah, and Balogun. And personally, I want Eddie Nketiah sold out of the 3. I want to see what Balogun's got. But we have 3 strikers that are pretty decent. They're class, all right? Well, Eddie Nketiah, I think, is the worst one of the 3. Balogun, he was competing with Mbappe in the Golden Boot. And then you got Gabriel Jesus. Come on, man. Come on, man. He was 17 goals and assists in 24 games in the Prem. That takes some skill. Performance of the season. I'm not sure if this is player or team, but for team performance, I'm going to go with the United one. That game was so nerve-wracking, and I'm so glad we got the win. And honestly, when Eddie Nketiah in the 91st minute pushed that in, better than sex. Better than sex. It was absolutely brilliant. I'm telling you, that goal it gives me goosebumps just thinking about it. And that performance was one of those classic games that you'll look back at, 10 years from now, that you're like Arsenal versus United, 2 teams at the time that were in the title race. And it was a big win. Arsenal, you start off down 1-0, then you go back 2-1, then they come in 2-2, and then at the end, the resilience, Trossard comes in, Odegaard puts it in, Eddie Nketiah, oh man, I wish I could go back to that moment. Life was so beautiful at that moment. I was so hyped. But goal of the season, performance of the season team-wise, or player-wise, I'm going to have to go with Thomas Partey against Tottenham in Tottenham. Man, he bossed them up so bad. It was like watching Patrick Vieira at his peak just dominate. He absolutely made Tottenham look silly that game. He was brilliant. He was absolutely class that game, and I can't talk any better than that game. When I would look at Thomas Partey's, time at Arsenal in case he gets sold this year, I'm going to look at that game and his games against United, where I'm like, wow, this man was brilliant. And that was like Patrick Vieira reincarnated that day. Goal of the season, it's an obvious one. Reiss Nelson, absolute banger. Last minutes, to help at the time keep us on top of the league. Everyone was going crazy. Everyone thought that Arsenal had to fumble the league, and then he does that, and everybody was like, wow, Arsenal won the league. We were wrong on that one. At that moment, I also thought, but man, it was a brilliant goal from him. Rating the season. Well, what's 1 to 10? What's a 10 at first? A 10 in my eyes is winning the Prem and the UCL and the FA Cup. Treble winning season. I think a 9.5 would be Prem and UCL. A 9 would be either just the Prem or just the UCL. And then, everything under, you got to take in consideration, Europa League, or you just won the Prem or whatever. So I'm going to give this season, an 8. A solid 8, considering the jumps we've made and the improvements we've made and getting back in the Champions League after 7 years. Absolutely brilliant. And, the format is going to change. And before the season, my predictions, I was like, please, Arsenal, qualify for the UCL. I want to see Arsenal one more time in classic, regular UCL format. Just once. And they did it. And, I'm grateful for that. I get to watch Arsenal next year in the Champions League. I'm going to have my jersey with the UCL patch. I want that jersey already. I can't wait to be wearing it in the videos, but dude, the jerseys are so fire. If only we won the league, the gold would be brilliant. Premier League oh my god. It gets me a little emotional that we didn't win it. But next year, it seems like we always fumble something. So maybe next year, Arsenal fumbled the treble and they only get the double and they win the UCL in the Premier League. I would be grateful for that. But anyways, leave a like and subscribe and leave a comment down below on your answers to all these questions. It was a decent year, improved quite a bit. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. See you to the next one.